Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel, Shantia's new chapter. Welcome to another worthy, flirty, and thriving episode with me. Okay, so if you're new to this channel is dedicated to helping you live in a way that feels the most natural to you. That is my message, which is why I chose a really juicy topic for today, which is the saying that we all hear, which is be your best self. You're becoming your best self, or the best version of yourself. Or, what I was stating in the beginning of the series, live your best life. So I wanted to share my assessment of this, my reassessment, assessing of this phrase, be your best self, because I feel like that, the way I saw it before isn't how I see it now. And that's because of me on my spiritual channel. I've been sharing my journey with you guys, how things have been unfolding. I'm very open with my connection to God, my connection to spirituality. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and check out the other channel. But here we're going to talk about how that applies to our life and how we live, how we experience things. So it's very popular. It's been very popular, I would have to say, within the last 10 years or so, for people to strive so hard for self-improvement and want to become the best version of themselves and live their best lives, because now we all have access to the convenience of being able to live your best life, in a sense, or our idea of what we think is the best life. And thanks to Instagram and social media, we have all of these ideas and inspirations for how we can create the best lifestyle for ourselves. However, I do think sometimes it does get in the way. So I used to like the phrase of living your best life or being your best self or best version of yourself, because in a sense, I was always a perfectionist, especially when it came to myself, when it came to me working on myself. I love learning, but I think through exploring my connection with God more, that's allowed me to understand what that means, to change the narrative, to change my approach to what it is I'm aiming for. Because I know personally for me, the idea of aiming for success has always been very appealing. I feel like I'm most definitely one of those people who has that sort of mindset. When I want to learn how to do something, I can thrive at it. For sure, especially if I love it. I can thrive at it. I want to master it. That has always been my mindset, and that will probably most definitely be my mindset moving forward. But I've also learned that this phrase of becoming the best version of yourself can actually be quite destructive, in a sense, because what it's insinuating is that you're not already enough, which doesn't mean that you don't aim for anything, you don't aim for any kind of goals, but I've shifted my approach to what it is I'm aiming for, because I find that whenever I have a specific goal, it changes. It changes, especially as I open up to, again, my connection to God, my connection to spirituality. It's changed my understanding of what it is I'm trying to achieve and why I was really trying to achieve it. Ask yourself that first. Why are you so interested in becoming the best version of yourself? What is it about that experience that you are wanting to claim, that you're wanting to immerse yourself in? Like, what is it about that goal that appeals to you? And I think it's so important for us to be very honest about where that's coming from, that drive, that motivation. What is the motivation? So for me, I can't accept myself and want to be a different version of myself. That's essentially the conclusion I came to. I can't accept myself and want to be a different version of myself. I feel like I have become the person that I've always wanted to be, but a lot of that has come through me realizing that there are layers. Transformation is about uncovering layers. It's about becoming more comfortable being yourself. Otherwise, you're putting a mask on, and that doesn't feel good. When we're all saying live our best lives, I think we all want to feel good, right? We want to feel good. We want to enjoy the experience. But if we're saying feeling good means I have to keep improving upon this, who this is and what this has got going on, then there may be some issues. Not to say that you won't improve. The nature of it is that we always evolve. You can't descend. It's impossible. It's like once you know. And once you learn how to do better, it just becomes a habit, or it becomes an instinct. So if you know better, you have to do better. Otherwise, you're lying to yourself, right? So it's in our nature to want to be better, to want to improve. But I'm also just asking you to assess, where is that motivation coming from? So some of the things that I feel like, I made a list of things that being the best version of myself really represented for me. It represented perfectionism, which is impossible. I can never perfect myself. It represented pressure. So I'm like, in order for me to improve and become the best version, I have to put pressure on myself to change. Not to say that life doesn't have pressures, but I'm going to get to that later. Expectations, 3 expectations. So becoming the best version of ourselves. What does that even mean? What does that mean? The thing is, we are so mysterious. We are mysterious creatures. I honestly, I looked back at videos of myself, like when I first started my YouTube channel. I don't recognize myself. I speak differently. I approach things differently. I was in a different mindset, but I'm the type of person that's like, once I move on, I move on. I can't go back to my old version of whoever I was a year ago. I don't know what she was thinking, all of what she was thinking at that time. I have an idea, but it's like I've already moved on, and I just know that I don't recognize myself. And what led to me becoming how I am now, I can't even tell you. We think we can predict it. We can't. We can make goals, we can strive, but I have to say that the personal experience of being in your body is so much more enriching than what you think you can create. We can't even imagine. We can't even imagine the possibilities. We can maybe visualize one, like hitting a goal or this way or that way, but the way it comes to us is so unpredictable. And who I am and how my journey is unfolding is a mystery to me. It's a mystery to me. At this point, I've realized I really can't predict anything. And the goals, all of my goals, I've erased a lot of it. It's like, yes, there's certain things that I've wanted in life, but I find that I'm more interested in what I'm doing now. I'm more interested in what is unfolding right now. Like, I would say just like within my energy, like within the next few weeks, like in the next few months, like what is happening? It's a mystery to me. But I think people, they box themselves in so much. They don't realize, people always say we're complex. I don't really like the word complex. I say you're multifaceted. You're multifaceted. You can be anywhere on the spectrum of like personality that day. Like, my personality just depends on where I'm at that day. I'm not saying that I'm like, chaotic. I'm saying that I explore and I enjoy all parts of myself that want to express themselves. And I've just learned how to let it out. My other channel has taught me how to just be very expressive, be comfortable expressing myself for whatever mood, however the words want to come through, just accept it. Accept it. So we put on these expectations on ourselves, but, I was watching Love is Blind, and I was watching one of the couples, Brett, and I can't remember her name at this point in time, but I was watching the two of them together, and they're, such a sweet couple, but they're like, oh, you make me want to be the best version of myself. And I'm like, oh, that's really sweet. You do want to be with someone who inspires you. But for the most part, a lot of the issues that occur in relationships are due to expectations. And the thing is, you're constantly transforming. I see this in connections all the time. Someone will change and another person will be like, wait, why did you change? They're like, I want something slightly different. And they're like, why did you change? And it kind of breaks the relationship apart, or it causes a distance to be created. And I'm like, I don't think we have to do this to ourselves. Maybe it's idealistic of me, but I think we can just accept whatever unfolding is happening within us, whatever unfolding is happening within our friends, the people around us. I find that there are times where I've wanted people to stay the same. I've wanted it, but I would never go out of my way to make them stay the same, because I know it's so important for a person to just go and explore and to know who they are. But there are times where I've just been like, I just want you to be like who you were before. This change that's happening is a little disruptive to my system, because I have an expectation about what I feel comfortable around. That's all connections. Like, we have expectations, and I'm like, holding on to those expectations towards other people, towards our life, towards ourselves, it puts so much excess pressure. We're constantly in our head thinking, keep things the same, keep things the same, keep things the same, when it's impossible. It's impossible. We have no control over our own evolution as well as anyone else's evolution. We have no control over it. It just happens. It just happens. Hopefully, it's a healthy evolution that's happening in someone's life, as opposed to, someone choosing to make reoccurring unhealthy decisions for themselves and spiraling in a different direction. Okay, so number 4 I wrote on my list is, are you not already enough? Again, being the best version of yourself, that means that you're not already enough. And some people are going to be like, no, I can be better. Sure. But I'm like, it's going to happen with time. Sure, we all can do this better. We can do that better. We can do this better. But it's like, what do you want to do today? And I'm telling you, it's like when we're striving for and we're aiming for goals all the time, we're missing what's happening right now. And there's so much happening right now with you. And one of those, I like to journal a lot. And sometimes I'm like, am I weird for just thinking, I'm constantly on to the next, like evolving or growing in my concepts of things. And my brain just works that way. And I'm like, is that weird that I'm like, I just put a lot of attention on that experience. I'm constantly expanding in my view of life and in myself. And I realized, just like all those other people, how you want you want certain celebrities to stay the same. You want them to make an album like they did 10 albums ago. You want them to stay the same, but they keep evolving. And it's like, you have no control over their evolution. Would you want someone to stop you from growing? Would you want them to say, no, I don't, but there's a version of you that just wants to, there's a part of you that just wants to just freely express yourself. You want to change. You want to be whoever you are. You want to be flexible. You want to be fluid. And doesn't it feel hurtful or suppressive or oppressive for someone to tell you, no, stay the same. Stay the same. This is the problem that occurs in pretty much everything. Our connection to relationships, our connection to our job. It's this feeling of wanting to stay the same. There are times where people, they can tell, at one point, this job made them happy. They were thriving in it. They were enjoying the experience. And then it stopped making them happy. They were feeling called to do something else. Instead of following the calling, they just stayed. And then they became even more unhappy in that experience. You're a transformative butterfly. You have to go transform. You are a transformative, transcendent butterfly. You are being called to transform. So that's why I'm saying you don't have to become the best version of yourself. You're always going to be curious, naturally, innately. You don't have to try. So I wrote number 5 was control. So we want to control people, control certain circumstances, control ourselves. We're not made for control. Janet Jackson's Control song, listen to that. How kids always have this desire to break free of their parents' expectations. Husbands and wives have this desire to break free of their partner's expectations. If it means that they have to be one way or a certain way or be the version of them that person likes. It doesn't feel good for someone to say, well, I like it when you do this, but when you're like this, I don't like you. It's like, okay, so you don't really love me then, right? You got conditions. You got expectations for this connection here. We've been sold this idea of self-improvement. Of course, we're so curious about it, but we're not products. The self-improvement is appealing. All the self-help books are great, but, I just find that people are so much more interesting when they're constantly evolving and they're open to this. They understand this about themselves. They accept it. This is your natural state, is you're transformative. And I think it's so beautiful when I see women, they're just at this point in their life where there's I'm ready to break free and do something different. I'm like, good. That's how you're supposed to be living every day. I'm not saying you have to go around doing all kind of crazy things. It's an inner experience, really. I have a very inner enriching experience that calls for me to transform, that calls for me to evolve. And I embrace it and I accept it. And I realize that the more I accept this, the less I'm tied to expectations of what other people expect of me and what I used to expect of myself. Surrender. I think that's the aim. So what is the solution? The solution is that sometimes we all get seduced not to fall into the seduction of self-improvement and being the best version of ourselves. The best version of yourself exists today. The best version of yourself honestly doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You don't have to be the best version of yourself. There are going to be moments that are going to be amazing, where you're just brilliant, amazing, so connected, so tuned in, and the best version of yourself is probably just like emanating from you, right? It's a moment. It's the present moment. It's whatever's happening here and now. It's whatever you decide you get to be here and now, right? It's like this moment I decide I want to be the best version of myself or whatever. But I'm less interested in like setting goals for like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm like, usually I can feel something. Like whenever I'm wanting to create something, I'm like, oh, I can feel it. I can feel it. I want to create something today. I want to make a video today. I want to write a song today. I can just feel it. And then I just follow that energy, and then bam, I wrote a song, or, bam, I created a video, edited it, uploaded it. Like I can just feel it. I just follow those inclinations. So acceptance, love, putting less conditions on ourselves, having conscious relationships. This is what I think we really want. We want acceptance. I'm like, when you're saying the best version of yourself, you're saying that you're not okay as you, like, you're not acceptable as you are. You have no idea how you're going to change moving forward. But if you promise someone, you make someone a promise, like, I'm going to become the best version of myself, or you make me want to become the best version of myself. They are kind of having, they're building expectations towards you about like, oh, okay, when's the best version of yourself going to start showing up? Is it now? Is it now? Is it now? It's just like, wouldn't it just be so like freaking amazing for us to just be so happy right now with what we are right now in this moment? It's the moment. It's the moment. And I feel like this is so important because yes, you're in this place of just like accepting yourself and not feeling this pressure to like be something other than what you are. But not only that, it feeds into helping you have conscious relationships, so that you guys both give each other room to grow, evolve, change, transform, however it is that transformation happens. And the thing is, everyone has, they have expectations, and they're always expecting their spouse to be this way or that way, and then they're like, who are you? Or what? Or they have this desire for like, oh, I thought at some point you were going to start really wanting to achieve your dreams and your goals. But you're basically telling that person you don't love them as they are. Straight up. I'm calling you out. You're basically telling that person, I will love you when you meet this condition, when you meet this expectation. That doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. That's why we love our pets. Like, the pets are just how they are. The love is so unconditional. They just love you no matter what. They love you no matter what. And you love them too, because you're not expecting them to like be this brilliant, amazing. Maybe some people are sometimes, but we're a lot more accepting towards our pets and their ways of being and their behaviors. So final message here, recommendation is allow instead of controlling. Allow instead of controlling yourself, your outer circumstances, and I'm telling you, life is going to get so much easier for you. This is something I'm putting into practice now, but I really wanted to share this because I was like, become the best version of yourself. Why do you need to do that? Why do you need it? You don't even know what that is. None of us do. All it is, it's putting this, I think, unnecessary pressure on ourselves to feel like we have to change. Like, feel like we have to be something else, be better than what we are. And the thing is, when you're very present and you're just living your life and you feel it, you feel life, you feel the connection to yourself, you feel the connection to the environment, you feel the connection to the people in your life, you're going to naturally want to transform. But final message here, final message. Remember, it happens naturally. It's like, how ironic that doing nothing helps us to evolve, helps us to transform, helps us to be the best version of ourselves. It's just acceptance every day. Let go of the pressures. So I just thought that's very important because that's something I'm learning how to overcome for myself. You know, even this, like, the way that I've envisions my life. Like, I know what's unfolding in my life. I know the feeling. Like, I know what I'm the feeling that I know is right. It feels good. It's the feeling I have now. I just know that I have an idea of what it's going to look like, but I also don't want to know. Like, it's so funny. I do tarot readings, but I'm like, I don't really need to know. You know, I don't really need to know that much. I'm okay. Like, I'm so happy. It's so exciting when I just get up and I don't really know what's going to happen in that day. I just know I'm going to do something, right? I know I'm going to create something. I know I'm going to do some cleaning, some work. And I'm open to how it all unfolds. And it fascinates me. Sometimes I'm like, wow, look at what I accomplished. I didn't even plan it. I'm not a planner. I'm not a planner. I'll usually just have a few set goals. I think I used to be, but honestly, I was never really an organized planner because I have a very abstract creative mind. Like, my dream life, I'm living it now, is like whenever I have a creative idea, I just go do it. You know, if I have something, I'm like, oh, I want to go to the store today or whatever. Like, that was always been my dream, to like live on my own time. Like, I get to do with my time with what I want. And to some people, they have this, I'll just share this really quick. Like, they have this idea, like, going out and doing a lot of things is like living the life. But for me, I guess because I'm a hermit and I have a very inner rich life, I'm like, being at home is like the best feeling. And I know a lot of people who live such busy lives love that feeling too. They love just being at home and comfortable. But being at home to me is just like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm like exploring my home like it's new again. I'm like, oh my gosh, my home feels so like new and inviting and warm right now. I don't it's funny to me. Like, that's the simple things sometimes. So that's the message I wanted to share with you guys. Just remember I invite you to just assess that for yourself, what being the best version of yourself is. And I found that no matter which way I wanted to spin it, it still ended up falling short of acceptance. I'm like, acceptance is way juicier, you know, it's just way more delicious, and that's the feeling I want to be in. And that's the feeling that I've been aiming for. You know, even as I've been striving for things, I'm like, I'm going to accomplish this, I'm going to accomplish that. You know, I joined my public speaking group and I became the president of the club within a year. And I was just like, huh, I get it. There isn't any like, I want to challenge myself. Yes. But there's no need to become the best version. I found that when I'm just comfortable being myself, that's when I'm excelling. Like, it feels good for me and it feels good for other people. When I'm talking, it's just a great experience for both of us. You can feel it right now, right? Okay, so that's it. That is the end of this chaotic video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, subscribe to support. Let me know what you're thinking. Thank you. Bye.